solid on the ground. De'Runnya Wilson, Fred Brown, Jamian Lewis could be back. He missed the game. Again, this is a good, solid team. Now, they did lose their center, Dylan Day, who was suspended. He's questionable now. Meanwhile, Auburn, Nick Marshall, ever since he came back after that first half suspension of game one, he has been very solid. Cameron Artis-Payne out of the backfield has been pretty consistent as well. Harrison Jennings, for LSU were both shut down by that Auburn Tiger defense last week. Coates and Williams, great combination there. Wideouts both have outstanding speed. And Marshall just basically has to air it out, and these guys will run under it. That's how good they are. Chuck, this is going to be a fun game. It's one of those can't-miss games in the SEC. The western half of the SEC is just so fun to watch, and it was fun last week. It'll be even more fun maybe tomorrow. Charles, which way are you going on this one? This is going to be a fun game, and I'm telling you, this is just one that is going to be worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the head. I mean, we don't have to play all the games. That's what's nice. We have our choice, and this is going to be one that I enjoy. It's going to be a tough one. Auburn won the game last year, 24-20. Now, who'd have thought this? At this point, the number 2 and 3 teams in the season. I mean, Auburn maybe, but a lot of people think Mississippi State would be up there. Auburn 5-0. Their defense is very much improved this year. They're 14th in the country right now, but they've only faced a top 100 quarterback twice. They're going to be tested by Prescott. He's had 3 straight games of 200 passing and 100 rushing. He could do it all, and he's definitely been impressive. But let's give Auburn credit. They're playing great ball right now. 41-7 win over LSU. They completely dominated the game. Marshall had a great game as well. And I think the key in the game here, Ken, is Mississippi State's defense, actually, because I know offensively they're going to be able to move the ball, but defensively, Mississippi State team defense, I'm still not sure about here.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye on the weather there, too. Chance of showers there in Starkville. Western Michigan and Ball State. Ball State minus 255 the total. They'll go with a new quarterback. Jack Milas going to start the game for Ozzie Mann. Edwards and Banks will have to help him out of the backfield. Also, 4 defensive starters for the Cardinals are questionable. Zach Terrell leads Western Michigan, and they can move the ball. He was 30 of 37 for 370 last week, Chuck. Again, this is a team that can score points. We know that. Franklin out of the backfield. Davison Phillips, pretty good wideouts for the Broncos. Western Mich in the game, going to catch 2 from Ball State, total 55.
Yeah, this is a game, Ball State offensively not the same team that they've been in the past as well. That's why all 5 of their games have gone under the total. They lost to Indiana State a couple weeks back. They lost to Army. I like the way Western Michigan's played a pretty tough schedule here. I think they're the better team. They've covered 4 of their 5 games this year.
Real quick, Troy minus 762.5 the total against New Mexico State. Rogers and company will lead the Aggies into Troy, where the 0-5 Trojans will try and get off the schneid. Silvers leads the way. Pretty good quarterbacking so far with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, but they got to get it going. They nearly beat UL Monroe, lost 22-20 last week late. Charles, what about it?
New Mexico State played a good game against Georgia Southern. They actually outgained them. They're going to go up against the hungry Tri-team. I think it goes, the spread's about 7. I think it looks about right.
All right, Alabama, Arkansas. When we come back from Fayetteville, it's going to be a big-time game. We'll talk about
Open heads on that one.
Coming off the bye, we'll talk about it when we come back. SportsX Radio, Yahoo Sports Radio Network. Ken Thompson, Chuck Edel, live from Vegas. Coming right back at you. Keep things rolling on the Friday Football Fiasco.
And throw that trailer in. I know you like Arkansas.
Yeah, I took 10.5.
But I mean, I don't love Alabama.
No, 10.5 I got. 10.5, and then I took 9. The line's down to 8.5 on Yahoo.
The money's coming in Arkansas.
It's going to rain. I'll take my chances. They're missing.
What do you think the line would be? What do you think the line would be? A neutral site, Arkansas, Mississippi. Let me say this: if Arkansas at Mississippi, what would the line be?
Arkansas at Mississippi?
Yeah.
I would say Ole Miss got to be 10, 9.
All right, so Alabama was 6 at Mississippi.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just weird, I'm saying, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but now Arkansas, Alabama just lost 3 more starters for this game. I watched Brock Huard do the breakdown. He was with all the coaches. He said at the beginning of the year, like in the summer, you'd have never said that you would take Arkansas's offensive line over Bama's. Now you would. They're missing their center and a guard. He said now you would take. He said you'll take their running game all day over Alabama's right now.
Yeah, I can agree with.
So
that's where they have the edge here, but I don't know if they'll be able to run at Alabama.
I don't know how good Blake Sims is. He looked like he didn't. Sometimes he looks okay. He looks okay.
Yeah, no, he's nothing special.
But again, he went against Mississippi's defense, though.
Yeah, Mississippi's got a good defense.
Arkansas's They had A&M shut down to 14 points, Chuck, on a neutral field with freaking 7 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of yards to them. They gave up yards in that game. They gave Auburn. That was early in the year. I know
They
they
ran
were
for a
playing better.
shitload, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran. They had that game won. That's a game they should have won. I mean, they had no business losing. That kid missed the field goal. That was it. If he makes that field goal, the game's over.
Oh, they should have been. We both had them against A&M. But A&M's.
Yeah, we knew they were going to win.
But
I mean, we knew they were going to cover. I wanted them to win the
Yeah,
game, though. I had them on the money line with
yeah.
Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky beat Navy. But
they
Stella
definitely
was
gave away
rooting
that
for me.
game.
We were watching. She helped me bring in Western Kentucky on the 4th down. Navy going for the 2-point conversion. And
yeah.
Stella was sitting there watching with. I go, come on, Stella, because I know.
Oh, but you had them with that money line parlay.
Yeah, and then after that, then Arkansas blew the 2-touchdown lead.
What happened here? Yeah.
Dude, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's
He's not
bullshit.
going to hit a guy on purpose in a playoff game when the game's tied.
Oh, no, yeah, it's raining. Look, it's raining.
Yeah, it's raining. Yeah, they showed it raining. Yeah,
Dude,
he's not. He doesn't
that got
want.
him.
He doesn't want to hit
No.
the guy. Gordon would take one for the team.
Wow, dude. No, dude, not Gordon doesn't. He wants to freaking hit a home run.
I know, but he'll still
Yeah, see,
take.
Gordon's cool. He knew.
Yeah,
It's no way. It's raining.
it's
But he's gone.
but-
Dude, that reminded me of that Michael Galloway dude. Hit me in the helmet, though. Cracked my helmet.
Wow.
I freaking hated that dude, man. He's like a
Little
bully.
league or
Yeah, he's like
something?
a
Oh,
bully,
really?
like
Yeah,
a year
purpose.
older than me, a grade older than me. But he had stayed back one, so he was really 2 years older than
One
me.
of those guys.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
picking
yeah.
on me on the bus stop and stuff. Freaking jackass.
Let's go get him.
And I think the Lord already took him out. Stanford just scored. Block it, run it back.
Happened in the game the other day. Who was I watching? Somebody.
Yeah, that was Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had TCU and the Oklahoma Black.
Block.
What?
San Diego State touchdown. 17-7, 11-22.
Jeez, but you step on a black cat or something? You talk about that guy and with 2 scores against us.
UNLV 17-0, a minute 19 to go in the half.
Wow.
You're Fresno. Imagine those, and they travel well.
Yeah, Fresno not that far, right?
They're like sitting
There's
there.
probably more Fresno there
Yeah,
than UNLV.
guaranteed.
They got to get a new stadium. It's sad.
All right, Chuck, let me see. It's
Good game stuff.
8:30. Okay, so we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Holy shit. 17, 18, 19, 20. Still have 22 games. We only got in. Oh,
Said you guys are amazing when you do this.
it's great. It starts with an earthquake. There it is. That's why you bumped the guy to second. Sorry. Go down
Especially
second.
in this game, right?
Yeah, 5-5. You had a lead.
So
Wait,
what
he's
Spicer
continuing.
disagreed with ever bunting? Is that what he was saying? Yeah, each situation's different. In this game, I
That's
would
what
bunt.
Etzstein. That's when Etzstein
Yeah.
said. He goes.
I believe in some of that
Sabermetrics does not
some of
take
it.
into human
Element.
element, right? Like who it is.
Showalter probably would have bunted. It's the 8th inning. And everyone wins the game.
Guaranteed.
You want Baltimore here,
Here we go.
right?
All right, top of the 8th. Gordon got hit to start the inning, but then Perez strikes out. Right now, 0-2 on Infante. 1 out, and the Royals and Orioles still a 5-5 tie. Top 8 from Camden Yards, as you heard on our little update there. 24-10. Stanford now leading Wazoo late 3rd quarter. Also, another touchdown for San Diego State. It is 17-7, 10-20 to go 3rd quarter. They lead at New Mexico, and UNLV a minute away from halftime, still up on top of Fresno State, 17-0. So those are the games rolling as far as college football. Ken Thompson, Chuck Gettle on a Friday Football Fiasco, breaking down the college football. Alabama and Arkansas is where we left off. This game will be from Fayetteville. 50% chance of showers and a chance of an extreme thunderstorm. It was raining today when I was watching the Paul Feinbaum show, which was live from Fayetteville. In the game, it is Arkansas catching 9 right now. 56 is the total. And Charles, if you have Alabama straight up, you were perfect up until last week. The loss late against Ole Miss. But as far as against the number, Bama 1-4, Arkansas 4-1. The boys from Fayetteville, of course, coming off the bye, and this is going to be one of those games, Sir Charles. I mean, it's going to be where Alabama, Blake Sims, what does he have? I mean, again, when he was under duress, he made a couple mistakes against Mississippi, but that's going against one of the best defenses. Now, also, Bama lost Kenyon Drake. They lost their center, one of their top running backs. They lost their center, Ryan Kelly, and they lost one of their leading tacklers in Denzel Duval. All those guys are out, but they do have Amari Cooper, O.J. Howard, Christian Jones. If Howard catches the ball, that takes pressure off Cooper. They still have Yeldon and Henry out of the backfield.
How's Henry's leg doing? Okay.
Yeah, he's good. I'll tell you what, always remember to check your injury reports and check them closely, check them twice. One of the injury reports had Derrick Henry out with a broken leg, and that was last year. But I went and checked it. They had it as of October 7, 2014, and I actually called the place to let them know that he was good to go in the game tomorrow. Meanwhile, Arkansas, Brandon Allen, Chuck, if he can throw the ball a little bit, that'll take some pressure off Collins and Williams because he's going to have to loosen those linebackers. Otherwise, Alabama, that's their strength, stopping the run, although this defense, not the defense from the last several years. Again, they've got 7 starters back on both sides of the ball, coming off the bye. Again, listen to Brock Heward break it down with Paul Feinbaum earlier. He said, you know, in the spring, I'd have never said this, but right now I will take Arkansas's offensive line and their running game against Bama. However, the defense is a different story. That's where the big advantage goes to the Crimson Tide. He said Trey Flowers on the defensive side of the ball on the line, defensive end, is the only Arkansas Razorback that would start for Alabama.
Interesting. And, you know, like you said, Alabama a little bit banged up after the 23-17 loss to Ole Miss. One of Alabama's problems has been, and including in the Ole Miss game, has been turnovers and penalties. People overlook, you know, the 4 turnovers and 11 penalties in the game in Florida because they dominated the game and they won the game easy. They still are 9th ranked offensively and 3rd ranked defensively in the country. It's been helped a little bit by a soft schedule. Meanwhile, Arkansas, 7th in the country rushing. They average 44.6 points a game. Interesting, though, the last 2 years, Arkansas has lost this game by the exact same score. Alabama has won this game 52-0 the last 2 years. No question, Arkansas has improved. They're coming off of a bye after they gave the game away to Texas A&M, that 35-28 game. The thing here with me is their defense ranked 73rd in the country. They gave up a lot of yards to A&M and a lot of yards to Auburn. If Arkansas can't run the ball in Alabama, that's obviously the key to the game because that's what Arkansas does. The old Wisconsin offense. They need to be able to run the ball. I don't know if they can't run the ball. I think Alabama is going to score their points. We've seen the total move a little bit here, but I'm not pulling the trigger on Arkansas. I know I lean Alabama, and I know I'm probably bumping heads with you here.
Yeah, I ended up taking 10.5 in the game, and again, I feel good about that. It's down to 9 again. The inclement weather again, as long as Collins and Williams hold onto the ball, I feel like Arkansas is big enough to, I hate to say it, but they're big enough to hold their own with Alabama's defense on the line. And a lot of people will say, no, that's no way. There's not safe. This is not the same Alabama defense that we've seen the past few years. DePriest is good. There's some other talented players there, but it is not where you're going to get 6 or 7 guys from that defense being drafted by the NFL again.
But if Alabama has a weakness of defense, it would be the secondary more than the line. I don't know if Arkansas could exploit that or not.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Allen only 1 interception, 9 touchdowns, 751. But again, Chuck, he got into trouble in the opener against Auburn. And again, that game was similar type weather, and it was delayed a couple times, one time for about an hour and a half there in the second half. Remember, though, Marshall did not start that game, and so that was key. But the game was tied at 21 at the half. When they fell down 28-21, they started throwing the ball on first down, and that put themselves in a 2nd and long. Cannot do that. When you have Williams and Collins, you're better off just handing off the ball to both these guys average better than 7 yards a carry. And that's key. It's, again, want to see the battle in the trenches because Arkansas has improved a lot. But, again, we're basing that really on the Texas A&M game. So we'll have to see what they can do against Alabama's defense. I think it's going to be a fun one. And, again, that extra week for Arkansas to prepare solely for Alabama is going to be interesting.
And that helps because Alabama's obviously coming off a very tough emotional game against Mississippi.
And I would think even more so because if Arkansas held on and beat A&M, and they had a 14-point lead with 7 minutes to go, but they blew that game, ended up losing it in overtime. but maybe they're fat and happy. They got their SEC win. Right now, they're still 0-9 under Bielema as far as inside the SEC. So they're still hungry, and you know they were chomping at the bit, probably getting ready for Bama, thinking Bama's probably going to beat Mississippi, but not sure. But they're prepared, they're focused, and they're looking to get off the schneid. They know they're close. They haven't gotten over the hump yet, but they know they're close.
Yeah, no, and Mississippi has a good defense. They definitely held Alabama down. I don't know if Arkansas could do that. And the teams that have given Alabama problems over the years, last 2, 3, 4 years have been the spread offenses. I mean, we know Saban doesn't like those, and Arkansas really doesn't bring that to the table. So it's going to be a good chess match.
Here's the interesting trend, though, for a lot of you trend players. Alabama off a loss in their last 9 losses.
Pretty good.
0-8-1 against the spread.
Okay.
0-8-1
Really?
Alabama
After a straight up
loss.
Okay.
They are 0-8-1 against the number. LSU and Florida, Charles, this is a game that over the years has just been a top-billing SEC game. It'll be on the SEC Network. How about LSU last week against Auburn? 0 for 13 on third downs. Jennings, Harris, it doesn't matter. Fournette only 42 yards, found out what it's like to go up against a good, solid road team against Auburn. And, boy, they just got melted down quickly by the Auburn Tigers as LSU had no answer. Florida, on the other hand, all that stuff with Trayon Harris. And, by the way, right now the charges have been dropped so far, but Trayon Harris, according to Muschamp, will not play tomorrow, but he was reinstated with the team. So Driscoll, off his 3-interception performance, will be back at the helm there. And again, they came back behind Harris to knock off Tennessee 10-9. Matt Jones had a pretty good game. Demarcus Robinson, not much, but they're going to need some help. They do have an outstanding kicker, Austin Harden, who has real good range. And Chuck, this could be a low-scoring game. I'm not impressed with either one of these offenses. Again, the total on this game is at 47. Florida, 1.5-point favorite in Gainesville.
Yeah, it opened up. LSU wanted to have some money. He has come in on Florida. Harris, the quarterback, the freshman kid who we thought was going to be the answer. Everybody says, oh, finally we got the guy in there. Against Auburn, 3 for 14, 58 yards. He struggled mightily. They got outgained almost double. Plus, Harris injured his ankle in the game as well. Meanwhile, the other quarterback, Driscoll, was doing nothing. He was 11 for 23 for 59 yards, 3 interceptions. That's against Tennessee's defense. And the kid came in and got the job done as they won the game 10-9. So both chess match here, both offenses struggling. LSU, though, their defense might be even a little bit more down than Florida here. I think Florida probably can pull off the win.
All right, Charles, every now and then when I'm doing the lines, there's a head-scratcher on line movement. Iowa State opened at 5. They're down to 3 right now at home in Ames, Iowa. And again, this is an Iowa State team that went into Iowa City and beat Iowa. Toledo, I'm not impressed with, Chuck. They were fortunate to even score late in the fourth quarter to get a game into overtime against Western Michigan. And total is at 62. Woodside, the quarterback, he's a second stringer. Terry Swanson had a big game out of backfield, 172 and another 54 receiving. Russell and Jones, pretty good wideouts for Iowa State. Richardson will try and lead the way. Wimberly and Neely out of the backfield. And then Bibbs actually covered the spread with a catch late. If you went against the Cyclones, you got burned by that hook last week. For Toledo, Kareem Hunt looking like he's doubtful out of the running back position. Charles, again, I'm on Iowa State, and I played, and I got a bad line according to what it is now. But I think Iowa State's the right side here in Ames, Iowa. I'm just wondering why the money's coming in on Toledo. What am I missing? I checked over injuries, everything like that. This Toledo team is not impressive.
I think, sometimes the stats lie a little bit. I mean, Toledo's averaging 515 yards a game on offense. Iowa State 314. So, people look at that, but I kind of lean your way. I mean, look at this Iowa State schedule. They lose 32-28 to Kansas State. They beat Iowa 2017. They had to play Baylor. They had to play at Oklahoma State. They've had a very tough schedule, and Toledo a pretty soft schedule for the most part. And so statistically, maybe Toledo on paper looks a little better. Iowa State at home. I would lean your way. All
right, that's good news. I feel a little bit better about that. When we come back, we'll pick it up with the big game inside the Pac-12, 1 of 2. There's a big one for Arizona, but Oregon and UCLA, both teams coming off a loss. The game's at the Rose Bowl. Boy, we'll see what happens. Mariota and the boys taking on the boys in Pasadena from UCLA. And again, it's pretty much win or you're out, I would think, because the loser's going to end up having 2 losses and be severely up against it as far as that Final Four. We'll take a look at it when we come back. We'll continue rolling through the college football. Ken Thompson, Chuck Kettle, Friday Football Fiasco, live from Vegas. We'll be right back. Trying to keep tabs of all these games that are going. We're at Chucky. We got 25 games, and it's 8:45. So we're
on a good pace.
Yeah,
we talked a lot about the bigger games. So
game,
we're gonna have to. We're gonna have games. So let's just scoot through.
Oregon, UCLA, and I'm not going to take that long on it. USC, Arizona, not that long. Georgia, Missouri. We'll just mention the Gurley thing that we don't have time to get into it, but
the next 4 games are all decent big games, right?
Yeah,
They'll be, yes.
Well, let me see. Okay, so we have 2, 5, 10, 15, 19 games. 19 games. We've
Now
got
it's
10 minutes.
8:42.
I mean,
Yeah, we're getting
we've
pick it
got
up.
about
We got
25
we
minutes.
got fly a little bit.
It's almost like a minute a game. So,
It's
I'm
weird
going to throw
because
it to you.
the show has an extra hour, but the last year we had a whole half hour to boom, 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 right? I mean,
Yeah,
we used to get done in an hour and a half. We were done by 8:30, for the most part, right?
because we had 3 25-minute segments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get momentum going.
So Oregon. Yeah, so if we can get a good, I mean, somehow if we could get 6, 7 games in, that's going to be tough. Let me see. We're going to be back. It's going to be 8:46. So we'll have 11 minutes. If we can get 7 games in 11 minutes, Chuck, we'll be okay.
So, yeah, I think we can do that.
Oh, that's great.
Let's see.
There
You
go,
got a
the Royal
picture.
Girls.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Are you able to say you
That's
should
awesome.
put that on
We need
on
to
that
send that.
website?
Yeah, we need to send that to Matt so that they can
Yeah.
say we got our own camera.
Show that to the Venetia Plaza people
Right.
too. It looks good,
Yeah.
They're all excited
Awesome.
about the radio and all that.
There you go. Exactly. We need that to go to what's that dude's name? Keith Solowski. That's awesome.
They were great. I tried to
Yeah.
get. I thought that I didn't get them.
Okay,
I
Stelly.
tried to get
That's
them
a
here
good picture.
soon enough.
Stelly.
Are you able to email that off there or anything? Are
Stelly,
you able to
God
email
just-
that to me? I should.
God just took the picture and
Email
did
it.
it.
Chuck
Stelly,
it
don't
out.
worry about it.
Check it
Stelly,
out.
don't even worry about it, Stelly.
Yep, that's good.
That's fun. That's
Top of
fun.
the ninth, 5-5.
So
Wow.
Kansas City's got a great bullpen.
Chucky, come on, man. Can we get a break?
Don't you want Baltimore? Because you need Baltimore, right? Yeah.
Yes, 17-14.
There we go. That's good.
So I said that's why I was squeezing it. 17-0 at the half, UNLV. That's
Impressive.
impressive. Not for Brian Banish.
Wow. Fresno's not good.
Oh my God! Someone had in the hot corner the other day.
Fresno? No.
Somebody has it on the brawl. Best bet.
Wow. Did he send an email out that I have Central Michigan? Because I told him, he said, "Oh, okay," and stuff.
I only saw
I lose this guy.
There you go, Charge. Yeah, yeah. But, hey, parlay.
I know against the spread.
A guy drinking cocktails like that. If I even said Colts, he'll fire that glass against the window. I got to remember, we're in a glass house.
Yeah, there you go.
You
Yes.
cannot throw stones. Whatever team are like, yeah, go. You know, I got the Royals ball. Oriole fan.
Yeah, but that way you want Baltimore here.
I do. Well, I mean, my money does, but I like.
Come on, rally.
No,
Rally.
well, you must have the Orioles.
A little bit.
Okay, there you go. See,
For the series.
there's always a selfish motive with this guy.
What do you say?
No.
You got him too.
No, I don't
you know,
care. I'd rather have the Royals win. Seriously.
For real?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Why'd you bet Baltimore? Oh, because you bet
I
Baltimore.
don't,
wrong.
yeah, like a month.
I forgot you were a Royal
ticket.
fan. I forgot you
Yeah.
were a Royal fan.
Dude, like if the Mets are in this year, I don't care.
I can tell you where we're from. Like, don't you have Baltimore?
Touchdown, Wazoo.
Another one? Oh, I was saying you State. Is it a word? The games are both going the same.
Dude, watch this. Look at him rolling out. Look at Halliday. He's running for his life. Wow. What a freaking throw that is against your body. He's good.
He's got a good arm. Huh?
He's going to make it in the NFL, I think, man. Got it.
Jeff Toole made it in the NFL. He's got to make
He
it.
didn't make it, Jeff.
He
Toole.
started for Buffalo.
Yeah, but he didn't make it.
Well, I consider
He
making it.
played.
Well,
No,
if he started for
if
an
you
NFL
started,
team,
but
he
you're
made
not
it.
starting, you didn't make it. I'm thinking
made
he's
it.
starting and he'll make
But
it.
I mean, he made it. He wasn't good,
What a
but he
throw.
made it.
Dude, that's an unreal throw. They just showed it again. He completely, dude, that was better than Montana's to Clark.
I got to
It's a
replace
big
him. Sorry for this. Dude,
Dude, if this guy walks, he's stealing. Oh,
Dyson
yeah.
again. Isn't
The
it Dyson?
rain. This is a KC type win.
Yeah, you don't like to play them in one-run games. Plus, their bullpen's good.
Ball 4, lead off man on. TV's ahead.
Struck
of
him.
us. Told you.
You don't want to walk in, huh? That Dyson?
Chucky, let's go.
Oh, Escobar. We got to talk like, after like the drug commercials, that's how fast we got to talk. Death could happen. You ever listen to them?
I know, they're at class.
Stomach could explode.
All right, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. By the way, KC and Baltimore, top 9. Escobar, a leadoff walk. Still raining a little bit there, and we'll keep tabs. A 5-5 tie, top 9. KC leadoff man on. We'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, Washington State a touchdown, so 24-17. Stanford leads that game, and that is near the end of the third quarter. In fact, they're in the fourth quarter now. 13:02 to go. San Diego State has just scored to counter New Mexico's touchdown. Could be. Not 3:59 to go in the third quarter. New Mexico had just scored to make it 17-14, but now it's 24-14 as San Diego State gets that touchdown right back. And at the half, UNLV shutting out Fresno State right here in our backyard at Sam Boyd. 17-0 Rebels over Fresno State. What's going on there? That's good news for Bobby Howe because his team has severely struggled. Meanwhile, we pick it up, Chuck, and we're going to have to pick up the pace here. Oregon -2.5 at the Rose Bowl, 17.5 against UCLA. This is a big game inside the Pac-12. Charles, I'll tell you what, this is a game that I really have no clue who's going to win. I just want them just going to look at, how about Utah sacking Brett Hundley 10 times last week? That's absolutely unheard of. But Hundley, of course, the most sacked quarterback in college football over the last 3 years. They missed a couple field goals at the end, a 59-yarder. They ran into the kicker. Utah did give him a 54-yarder, and it missed by a hair. And so Utah came away with the road victory. Meanwhile, Oregon, Mariota and company trying to rebound. They had a couple extra days rest coming off the loss against Arizona. Charles, this is just one for the taking. I'm not impressed with Byron Marshall. He has really gone back as far as his running game there for Oregon. Tyner and Freeman trying to pick him up. Perkins and James out of the backfield for UCLA. Fuller, Payton, Massington, and Lucian. Again, Charles, this is going to be one that you just have to watch. I might play the in-running wagering, but Oregon -2.5 on the road against UCLA.
Yeah, they opened up 3.5. Little money came UCLA. I think there is a little value with UCLA. Oregon just not playing good ball. Going back to last year, Ken, they're 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. They're giving up 454 yards a game defensively. We saw them struggle. They barely got the job done against Washington State. They lose last week to Arizona. UCLA, they're 4-1 as well as Oregon is, but they have not been doing anything too impressive as they got upset last week against Utah, even though they outgained them 406 to 342. And home here, this Oregon offensive line just can't block anybody right now. I would have to look UCLA.
USC -3. There's 2.5s around town as well, but here at CG Technology, it is USC -3, total 66. In Arizona, nighttime at the desert. Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Cats, joined me earlier this week. Anu Solomon out of Bishop Gorman High School right here in Vegas, the #1 team high school football in the country right now, has been very impressive. Terrence Jones-Grigsby has been great. In fact, last week, 115 yards rushing and another 95 receiving. Nick Wilson had a good game on the ground, 92 yards. And then Jones and Phillips have been outstanding as well. This is the best receiving core in the Pac-12 and maybe in the country, according to Roxy Bernstein, who joined us. And Scooby Wright has been outstanding from the defensive side of the ball. 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. He's just a beast, him and Tevis, leading that defense. Chuck, this is a night game in the desert. And again, I know how tough Rich Rod's boys are. They have much more speed than USC. USC, much more brawn. It's going to be interesting. Southern Cal favored 3, coming off that heartbreaking loss against ASU. Interesting to see which way this game goes. Buck Allen, Justin Davis will try and run the ball, but they need to air it out with Kessler to Aguilar and then rely on that defense with Pollard and Leonard Williams, who's one of the better defensive linemen in the country, if not the best.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, I think both teams are a little bit overrated. You know, Arizona, they're getting a lot of publicity for beating Oregon, which I'm not sure it was a great feat. They got lucky the week before to beat California on a Hail Mary. They only beat Nevada by 7. They only beat Texas San Antonio by 3. So I'm not sure what they're all about. Meanwhile, USC coming off the bad loss, they actually outplayed, I would say, Arizona State, obviously, and got beat on Hail Mary in that game. They lost a couple weeks ago to Boston College, and I'm going to stay away from this game. Arizona 5-0, but a little bit fake 5-0.
Meanwhile, what goes around comes around. Cal, they got burned, like you said, on that Hail Mary, but they pulled one out last week when Wazoo missed an 18-yard field goal to win it. After having 8 extra points, 60-59, Cal held off Wazoo up there in the Palouse. Jared Goff has 13 touchdown passes in his last 2 games. Lasco and Muhammad, they've been solid as well. Harper, Anderson, Lawler, Treggs, Davis, all good receivers there for Cal. For Washington, Siler Miles better have it together, but he's coming off a bye. He'll rely on Coleman and Washington out of the backfield, Ross and Mickens as far as the receiving core. Chuck, Washington better have some Chris Peterson magic if they're going to outscore Cal. That's the trouble for Washington because they don't score. They stole a touchdown against Stanford. They actually pulled the ball out of the guy's hand when he was on a pile, and that's how they got their touchdown in that game. Chuck, in the game, it is California minus 3.5 now, total of 70 from Berkeley.
Yeah, I mean, Washington, a much better defense. Obviously, Cal, a better offense. But even in that Cal win against Washington State, they gave up 812 yards to defense. Did they get out game 812 to 589? The week before, they only beat Colorado 59-56. The defense can't stop anybody. And, the line's moving to open up one Cal. All the money's going on Cal, but I could only look the other way. I would go against the money or look at Washington.
All right, the Todd Gurley suspension probably going to be for the rest of the year, and he's probably done there at Georgia. What a shame, because here's a kid that was a front runner as far as the Heisman, despite Georgia having a couple losses. Hudson Mason, a lot of pressure on him to get things going against Mizzou tomorrow. He'll rely on Chubb. And then Douglas also had 84 carries last year when Marshall and Gurley were down, so it's not like they don't have any experience there. And, of course, they have Conley and Bennett and a couple other receivers that came back there, Mitchell and company. So, again, Mason's got his weapons, Chuck. It's just whether or not this kid can throw the ball consistently. He has not done it this year. Meanwhile, Mizzou at home, Matty Mock and company, they could take care of business with Hansborough, Murphy out of the backfield, Sasser, White, and Hunt, pretty good receiving core. Chuck, in the game, Georgia's still a favorite. Despite the suspension, they are still minus 3, 59.5 from Columbia. And if they lose this one, they'll lose both Columbia games because they already lost in South Carolina.
They lost that game 38-35. They barely got by Tennessee 35-32. All 5 of Georgia's games this year have gone over. Nick Chubb, the pressure is going to be on him. Could he get the job done? Meanwhile, Missouri's coming off the bye, but they haven't been overly impressive. They did beat South Carolina a little bit, luckily, 21-20. And then the week before that, I believe it was, they lost to Indiana 31-27. So tough game here. I can understand why Georgia's still favored.
Clemson at home at Death Valley minus 9.5, 47.5 the total as the lines come down a little bit because Devontae Parker, the leading receiver for Louisville, is back in the lineup, Charles. Meanwhile, Kansas City has bases loaded. Nobody out in the top of the ninth against the Orioles in that 5-5 game. Keep tabs there. But Will Gardner will be back to quarterback after missing a couple games. Bonifant, the freshman, at the helm there for Louisville, was able to beat Syracuse handily last week 28-6. Radcliffe and Brown out of the backfield, not bad. But Devontae Parker helps out with Quick, Rogers, and Christian, who have tried to hold down the fort there while he was out. Clemson, on the other hand, are riding the freshman Deshaun Watson. This kid's solid. Gallman and Choice out of the backfield, good. But then Beasley and Anthony, outstanding guys that can really take care of business on the defensive side of the ball. Charles, in the game again, Clemson minus 9.5, 47.5 the total from Death Valley.
Yeah, a lot of money's come in on Louisville. Louisville's doing it with defense, only giving up 230 yards a game. Offensively, they have not been that good. Obviously, getting Parker back is going to help him out. We'll see how healthy he is. I mean, he did have a broken foot. Sometimes it takes a while for those guys to get things going. They beat Louisville beat Syracuse 28-6. They only beat Wake 20-10. Meanwhile, Clemson coming off a nice 41-0 victory over NC State. And the contrast of styles, Clemson's doing it with offense, Louisville with defense. But the line looks about right now as some money has come in on Louisville.
Yeah, NC State only 154 total yards in that ball game. Next up on the docket, North Carolina and Notre Dame from South Bend. So, Charles, and let me find the line there. It is Notre Dame 16.5, 64 the total from South Bend. Everett Golson, that big 4th down pass to beat Stanford, the 4th and 11, came through. Brian McDaniel and Folston out of the backfield. They've been okay. But remember, Chuck, even though this team's 4-1 against the number, they have Florida State on deck, so they best not look ahead against a team that's 0-5 against the number, North Carolina. Marquise Williams, Trubisky, not bad quarterbacking, but Chuck, this team just struggles mightily to stop anybody. They gave up 70 to East Carolina, as we know. In the game, again, Notre Dame, a pretty big favorite. We'll see what happens in this one, Chuck, but that's a big line. But again, North Carolina, they've not been able to stop anybody. 16.5, 64.5 the total from South Bend.
Yeah, usually in this situation, I might try to take a look at the dog. We know Notre Dame got the big win against Stanford, and then, like you said, next week against Florida State. This is what we would call a sandwich game. In North Carolina, they just can't stop anybody. The defense giving up over 500 yards a game, and I'll just stay away.
There you go. Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, the boys from DeKalb, 9.5-point favorite, total 57 against the Chippewas, led by Cooper Rush, Thomas Rawls, and Titus Davis now back in the offense there. Meanwhile, Northern Illinois barely escaped against Kent at home with Drew Hare leading the way. Stingley and Buganot out of the backfield, and Deron Brown, pretty good receiver. But again, this Northern Illinois team still smarting from getting routed in Fayetteville, which broke their 17-game road winning streak. Charles, again, Northern Illinois, pretty good size favorite at home, like they always are, 9.5, 57. But Central Mich may have something to say about this.
Yeah, I don't think this Northern Illinois team is as good as we've seen them over the past few years. They barely beat Kent, a weak team last week. They beat them 17-14. Central Michigan, they beat Ohio 20-8-10. And they're getting healthy as well here. I think the number's a little high. I would only look at the dog.
All right. When we come back, we'll pick it up with Idaho and Georgia Southern. We'll cruise on down. We'll finish it up with Wyoming and Hawaii. Meanwhile, a 2-2 count with the bases loaded, and it's now 3-2. So they have gone full. Zach Britton on the hill against Hosmer right now. And again, bases loaded, 3-2 count, a 5-5 tie. We'll bring you updates when we come back. Kansas City and Baltimore, game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Still 24-17, Stanford leading Wazoo. We'll get you caught up on the other games as well. We'll do it all when we come back. SportsX Radio, Yahoo Sports Radio Network. If you don't get all 3 hours, just go to yahoosportsradio.com/listen. We'll be right back, live from Vegas.
Wow, look at this. God, wow, he called him out.
I think his
Wow.
foot came off the back, off the plate.
Wow.
I don't know. He held it like a first baseman going for the field goal.
I thought it was a
Stanford,
bad
if you
throw.
This is this. You got this, man.
I thought it was a bad throw.
Yeah, it was. He made a hell of a scoop. Like he held it as a first baseman. They're going to look at it.
Choking. You think he
Missed it. Oh, he got it.
was only 34 years. There's free play, Ken. I thought he stepped on first. That's what confused me.
No,
Nice
that's why.
play. Wow, he almost did.
Watch his foot. That's a
Yeah,
hell of a play.
yeah. He's
That's
a
a hell of a
great player,
play.
the catcher. It's not easy for the
No,
catcher.
watch it. And his foot skips up on
He
the
even
plate,
pushes
too.
it back too.
Yeah.
Look at the ball. Is it moving though? Did he have possession of the ball?
Oh.
Huh? I don't know. Did he have possession of the ball? It looked like it was bobbling it. Hurry up and pitch. I don't know what I mean. Wow.
You're right. That ball may have been bobbled.
Oh, they're taking Britt out.
Wow. They're acting like we got it right
Wow.
here. Look.
They're taking Britt out. Well, he had the ball there.
That's all you need.
Okay, then he bobbled it when it hit the ground. It bobbled, but he had
He's
it
still
already.
got, how about that? He's
Yeah.
holding it tight in
Yeah.
the cup.
That's hard to do. with
That's a
catchers.
great freaking play, man.
Surprised they're taking Britton out here. I mean, I trust Showalter, but I'm surprised. There you go. I mean, he's their man.
This is a good way. This is good for baseball.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Son of a gun in Mexico, man. San Diego State. What they must just be running the ball.
They have to run the
24-14
kickoff.
fourth quarter.
They have to run the kickoff back. I
Yeah.
didn't see that backdoor touchdown.
Yep. No.
Humphrey,
just
long
a
run.
93-yard run.
Humphrey.
Humphrey, yeah.
Humphrey.
He's killing them.
He's got to have 200 yards.
226.
Jeez. He's their only offense. I mean, how do you bring all the guys up? Yeah. Wow.
Gauchi's done. He's
Was he like put Jordan in there?
Called him, yeah. He had 3 rushes for no yards. Jordan, 56 yards rushing, 92 passing, and a touchdown. But when they're forced to pass, they're done. Nick Bowden, Kaler came back in for San Diego State, but he's only 1 for 2 for 10. That's Bud Namath. That's my boy. He comes on the show.
There's some Disneyland pictures just go like that, move them over. I don't think there's any dirty ones in there.
Jesus. Going
How cool is that? We didn't even miss it. We tell people we'll be right back with the Orioles. And
Oh, yeah. Although we did miss the out. When we left, it wasn't the
no
out.
turnovers in the game either. And San Diego State has 9 penalties for 87. They
How
only
many
have
passing
4
yards?
for
All that running back. How many passing yards does the guy have?
San Diego State has nothing. They have 73. We have 106. We're out throwing them. What the hell?
The running game.
It's that 93-yard run. That's the difference.
Yeah.
He's got a 49-yard touchdown run and a 93-yard touchdown
You
run.
see her lately?
Oh, no, I haven't because somebody doesn't share pictures.
Yeah.
Somebody,
the guy over.
We can only go to his house. He can never come to our house, Shelly.
Our schedules are like half opposite. But
We're there all weekend, man.
I know, and I work all weekend.
No, you don't. You're off by 10
Sundays.
o'clock on Sunday. You're
Sundays
off 10 a.m.
Well, yeah, but I'm watching all the games.
Oh, Well, I mean, Saturday I watch all the games.
Saturday. This is easy.